5 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in this Wednesday morning. When my son was little, I had this awkward moment in the car. He asked me if I believed in Santa Claus. And I said, whoa, I believe in Santa Claus. I said, you know what? This is what I think. I think something magical happens this time of year. Because I don't ever have $300, $400, $500 extra dollars in a month. But something happens in December where I find that extra money. It's because it was just me squirming my way out of an uncomfortable question. But however, we have a need to hang on to our money. Jason R. Hastie has written a book. It's called The Dollar Code. Jason is a chartered professional accountant, so he would know a little bit about money. Also is a country music artist.
Yep. He's pretty awesome.
The way I understand that whole career is if you are successful, you got a lot of money, and if you're not, you got a lot of talent.
Yeah.
That's about it. Not to say that the successful ones don't have talent, just that the unsuccessful ones only have talent. Jason Hastie, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks for having me on. I'm great.
Where are you? Where are you calling from?
I am in Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Oh, my goodness.
Nice.
You're way up there. So how is the weather? Is it cold?
It's a little chilly this morning. It's about, how would I convert to Fahrenheit? It's -8 Celsius, so that's about 20 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, so that's just cold enough to make it make Florida look pretty good to you right now, right?
Exactly.
Well, thank you for being on the air with us. The book is called The Dollar Code, and then the subtitle is Get Out of Debt with One Number. Is that one number my phone number? You're going to have people send me money? What is that?
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
What is the number?
So the whole concept of the dollar code is, I liken it to a diet. So when we go on a diet, we're not told to eat 45,000 calories a month. We're told to eat 1,500 calories a day. But when we budget, we try to do it on a monthly basis, which is super complex. So what I've done is gets you down to one number, and you use that number each and every day, kind of like a diet.
Oh, okay. That made sense right off the bat. So how do you figure out what your number is?
Well, it's pretty easy. I mean, through my book, I kind of guide you on, you take your revenue, the money that you make every month, and you look at it in comparison to your expenses, and then you break that down, and that gives you your one number. The calculation is right in the book, and it's pretty simple. It takes an hour or two to sit down and to do it, but once you do it, it's something that you can use every day. And the thing that I've found is that people, because it's easy, people can stick to it. It is an easy thing to stick to, and it's a number that, you just keep at the front of your mind. I tell people put it on their fridge, and obviously for everybody it's different. And one other thing that I've found has worked really well is you kind of make it a competition between either your family or your friends, because that number doesn't tell people how much you make, but it basically gives you that number that you can live by every day, and you can, compete with your friends and your family with it.
So let's look at that number just for a second. The way I'm hearing you say it is, okay, you got to cover your gas, you got to cover your
lunch,
expenses, everything. So do you include the things that come out once a month? Like, do you say to yourself, okay, my cable bill is $100 a month or whatever it is, and do you divide that by 30, let's say, and say that's how much my cable costs today, and it's just I can't touch it because it's not even there.
Exactly. Any of your committed expenses, I say, you include in the formula. So, like your monthly cable bill, anything that you're committed to, even, things like groceries and stuff that, you have to spend money on groceries every month. So those types of things are included in the formula. What the number gives you, your daily allowance, that one number, is your free spending money. And I actually had a lady write to me a couple of months ago, and she said that she'd been using the dollar code for a couple months, and she said for the first time in her life, she actually doesn't feel guilty for spending money, because that daily allowance, I say that's the number that you take and you spend however you want to, feel zero guilt.
Well,
it's built into the formula all of your other expenses and what you make every month, to be able to pay those expenses, to get out of debt, and hopefully find financial freedom.
That does make sense. You compared it to a diet earlier, and I've heard of people who do the following. They know they're going on a cruise. They know they're going to be indulging in probably more calories than they're supposed to do. So they will actually figure out how many they need to cut back on for the first 20 days of the month, so that the last 10, when they're on this cruise, they don't have to worry about going overboard a little bit. I don't know if it's a science exactly, but it's kind of the general idea, I think.
Definitely, that totally makes sense. And, I say build into your number, things like your family vacation, those types of things that you want to do and plan for, because once you build it in, it just becomes automatic, and you will see those savings continue to pile up in your bank. And then, when you go to take that vacation, it's there. It's not like you're, putting it on your credit cards or worried, or you get back from vacation and you get your credit card bill. Even during the holidays, we spend so much money, on gifts for other people. And there's a thing called Blue Monday. Have you heard of Blue Monday?
No, I heard of Green Monday. It was 2 days ago. I didn't even know what that was.
We found out.
I guess multicolored Mondays, but Blue Monday is it's the 2 weeks after the holidays, so 2 weeks into the new year. That Monday is typically the day that people get their credit card bills. And
okay.
So it's kind of, not the best time, right?
Mm-hmm. And people are very habit oriented. I mean, you have people that smoke like 2 packs of cigarettes a day. They drink X number of cups of coffee every day. They have, so much Hershey bars a day, that kind of thing. And
I'm one of the 3, by the way.
Me too. Hershey bars. And they have all these habits. So if the people would get into the habit of the dollar code, that would be really helpful to their financial situation.
Definitely. And, really, it is a habit. Like it once you have that number in your mind, it opens up a whole world to you, because people ask me probably the most frequent question I get asked is, what is the biggest thing that people are doing wrong, or why are people having financial difficulties? And really, it comes down to awareness of spending. I say, when we used to just have cash to deal with, we'd have that, tangible thing in our wallet. And once we spent it, it was gone.
Right.
Well, now we've got credit cards, debit cards, we've got Tap to Pay, we've got Apple Pay. So it kind of takes it, the tangible side of it, it's too hard to manage. So that's why I built it all into the dollar code. You've got your one number, which is your daily allowance. As long as you're spending within that amount, you're in good shape.
So what is your formula for changes? For example, the rent goes up, but your pay doesn't. Or your pay goes up, but the rent doesn't. You're either having more money than you originally planned for, or less. One or the other. Do you adjust your numbers then?
Yes, yeah. And the way that I say is the easiest way to do it is your quarterly checkup. So I say, once a season, every spring, fall, summer, and winter, sit back down and look at your books to make the adjustments there and recalculate your dollar code, your daily allowance. So you just do it, an easy way to keep it in your mind is just once a season. And then you're adjusting for, your pay may go up, your expenses may go up. In the book, I give a lot of tips on how to reduce your monthly expenses, like your cable bill, your cell phone bill, all of those things, because so many companies out there there's competition, right? So many companies are out there, and they're willing to help you reduce your expenses because they don't want you to go to a competitor. But it's just in how you deal with them and basically just asking, really.
Oh, really? So when we come back, I'm going to ask you that trick.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a little break. Good advice so far. We'll come back. The book is called The Dollar Code. Jason Hastie, we're taking a little break, but we'll be back with you, and we're going to find out more about how to get out of debt with that one number that Jason has already explained. We'll be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. For today, times of clouds and sun, a shower, thunderstorm in spots. Very warm and humid, a high of 81 to 85. Then Wednesday night, partly cloudy and warm, a brief shower or two near the coast. a low of 66 to 69. Thursday, mostly cloudy, remaining warm with a couple of showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, a high 82 to 85. On Friday, a couple showers in the morning, otherwise mostly cloudy, breezy, and cooler, a high 68 to 77. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Evan Duffy.
It's the end of the fiscal year, and that means budget cuts and number crunching. Now's the time of the year you're evaluating your expenses, planning your budget, and finding ways to save money and increase efficiency to maximize profits. Dex Imaging understands and delivers. Call Dex Imaging today for a free document management evaluation. Cutting your office expenses is as easy as calling Dex Imaging, 352-266-0333. Start saving money today and increase your bottom line with Dex Imaging. Printers, copiers, and fax machines that increase office productivity and save you money. No one understands your bottom line better. Call Dex Imaging today, 352-266-0333, or check them out on the web at deximaging.com. That's DEXimaging.com. Or call 352-266-0333 for your free document management evaluation today.
On this episode of What Not to Do, brought to you by
Mike's Got Plumbing. If water runs through it, we do it.
Why is there a helicopter in the yard?
Never mind that. We have bigger issues.
Really? Bigger than a helicopter?
Your parents are going to be here for the big dinner, and the garbage disposal is making some crazy noise, and it wasn't Christmas music.
Well, maybe you should have thought about that before you tried shoving an entire sack of potatoes down the disposal.
It wasn't the entire sack, just most of it.
Now's not the time for more jokes, Mr. Funny Man.
Well, I did try to fix it, but...
Do you have to do this every holiday?
No, I did skip Easter.
What did we agree the rules are?
No more circus animals in the house.
No, not that one.
Oh, if water runs through it, call Mike Scott Plumbing.
Because they don't charge extra for nights, weekends, or holidays. So put down the blowtorch and pick up the phone.
Yes, dear. 866-314-4443.
And why is there a helicopter in the yard?
Oh, that? Black Friday sale.
Happy holidays from all of us here at Mike Scott Plumbing.
Looking to put your money to work? Florida Credit Union has 3 CD specials: 12 months for 1.05% APY, 24 months for 1.50% APY, 36 months for 1.75% APY each with a $10,000 minimum. Federally insured by the NCUA. APY equals annual percentage yield. These rates effective through December 31st, subject to change at any time. Visit one of Florida Credit Union's convenient locations today or visit their website at flcu.org. All right, 18 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. On the phone is Jason Hastie. He is a chartered professional accountant and a country music artist. We need to ask him about that a little bit.
Yep.
Up in Alberta, right? Alberta?
Yes,
Canada?
Alberta, Canada. Calgary.
Calgary. And
Alberta,
his book is called The Dollar Code. Get out of debt with one number. That one number is the amount of money you would allot for your expenses per day. That's how you do this. Mm-hmm. So
I call it your daily allowance.
For your daily allowance. Okay. So if you don't spend it, you bring it over to. Oh, you know what I wanted to ask you? Let's say you're paying off your credit cards, and you got your lowest one paid off, which is the science that we learned from a banker once.
Yes.
All right. So now, let's say you were paying $25 a month or whatever. You don't have to pay it anymore. Do you take that $25 and apply it to one of the other cards, or do you give yourself more allowance?
Well, I mean, it's really up to you. Best practice would obviously be to put it to one of your other cards. But if you're not recalculating your amount, that amount of money that you're not putting towards your credit card is just going to go into your bank account, and it will build up just naturally.
Yeah.
So, there are a few tricks that I give and tips that I give when your bank balance does start building up, because that's what you will find. Once you're adhering to your daily allowance, it just naturally will happen. And so, there's things that I call it the fun bucket. You can put all the extra money in your fun bucket, so you can go out if you want to go to an extra movie or if you want to save up for a vacation. Something that's very important is an emergency fund, and a lot of us don't have emergency money set aside.
Right. Or car repair money. Car repair.
Yeah. I am a parent. Both of my children, a boy and a girl, are in their 30s. And when they were growing up, I just like to take them places and do things with them. And they weren't super extravagant, but I had to spend money. And then, I was always cutting corners like on the grocery bill or something, because when you're a parent, you want to, have your children experience whatever it is that they can experience. How do you help the parent?
Well, I think that's a good question and something to talk about, like you were mentioning. I say get your kids involved with your dollar code as well, so that they have an idea of how much mom or dad can spend. They go to the park or go to, a movie or whatever. Really get them involved. And, with groceries, there's so many ideas that you can use there. You don't always need the brand name. In many ways you can cut back there. Obviously, you want to, give your kids the healthiest meals you can, but you definitely need to put some money aside for entertainment and enjoyment. But there are a lot of free things out there as well. I mean, I've got a 2-year-old daughter. I take her to the park, and she just loves the swing. So, little things like that you can do that, involve family time, but a lot of money.
Oh, I have a recommendation that you just reminded me of, and this is for Floridians. Here in Florida, you can get an annual pass for the state parks, and we have some of the best state parks. I'm telling you, we've got some good ones.
Yeah, they're wonderful.
And that annual pass is, I think, $120, and it's for the whole family.
Mm-hmm.
And
wow.
every state park in the state, with the exception of Wiki Watch, I think, is then free from that point forward. So, and it will pay for itself. Of course, you got to go to the parks. If you don't, then you just spent $120 for nothing. But.
Yeah, and you got to eat anyway, so bring your cooler of food. And each state park has different amenities there, so it's really fun.
That's right. And again, if you're aware of your spending and you know your daily allowance, maybe instead of choosing something else, you've already got this park pass that you've purchased. You could make it a fun time with your family in trying to get to all of the parks. I don't know if that's possible, but, I'm sure there are many parks and how much fun for your family to explore all of them.
Yeah, that would be fun.
The book is called The Dollar Code: Get Out of Debt with One Number. Jason Hastie is the author. Is there snow on the ground right now where you are?
There is, and you're going to think I'm kind of crazy with this, but my wife and I just built a new house, and we got a thing called heated sidewalks. So I am
cool.
Right now. We had about 4 inches of snow overnight. My sidewalk is perfectly clear.
Oh, way.
Nice.
Now, is that electric, or is it just some kind of technology gets it from the sun, or how does it heat?
Ours is electric, yeah. And yes, I did budget for it. So that was a thing that I wanted, and I told my wife, this I think is really important for us to have. And of course, she asked me if we had it in the budget because she knows that I'm a budget person. And yeah, we did. And now, I look outside and I see all my neighbors shoveling their snow, which is good exercise.
So you flip a switch and it all melts away.
That's right, yeah. And I mean, if I tie that back into budgeting, I had a husband and wife email me about a month ago too, and they said, doing the dollar code, they've done it since July, and now they've been able to afford some bigger purchases. So, there's the savings for that and the joy that you get from that kind of stuff too.
You just said that your wife asked you if the heated sidewalks was in the budget. Do you recommend that one person be the strong one in the family to be in charge of the budget, or should they share?
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good question, actually. I'm all about sharing, and in that same email that this husband and wife, it was actually the wife that had written to me, she said that for the first time she was involved in the family finances because she could finally understand it and had never been before. So, I do think that there is that, I don't know, I think it builds a relationship to share something like that as well. You may have the good cop, bad cop, or the person that's a little bit stricter, but it's kind of like going on a diet together. It's much easier if you're both eating healthy than one person in the household just eating healthy.
Oh, yeah. So the one curveball I think that we can all relate to is the car repair shock. When all of a sudden you got, oh gosh, it's making a noise. Let me go see what it is. Oh, we can fix that. That's about a $2,000 fix.
Right.
And you go, holy cow, $2,000. and I know some people have this car repair insurance or something like that, but I've often thought it's kind of like eye insurance. Like if you just put the money away, because eyeglasses and eye care doesn't really cost that much.
Yeah.
I mean, not really. It depends on what you have, but so would it be in the same category as that? Just put it away, and then when the car breaks down, you've got it.
Yep, definitely. And that's right. You actually brought up a really good point with the insurance, because insurance, you are paying for that every month. So why not take that money and just put it aside into your emergency fund instead? I have a friend who she had finally paid off her car loan. And she said, "Oh, well, should I go out and buy a new car?" She said, "I don't really want to, because I love the car that I have." And I said to her, that same amount of money that you were putting towards your loan each month, put that towards a new car. And then, when you go to buy the new car, you can either have a big down payment or you can pay off the new car instead of going into another loan scenario. And, I think that helped her.
And I think you're more of an expert on money than me, but I think when you have the money up front, you can leverage for a better deal with the car. You can say, I got the cash right here. Can you bring it down $2,000? And
right.
Definitely. Cash always talks. I think you're right in saying that for sure.
And when you were writing your book, did you come across some scenarios that you didn't even realize were out there through your research?
Yeah, you know what? Part of writing my book, it took me 10 years to write, actually, because I had been helping a bunch of clients, and I actually had a friend in the music industry. I was talking to him about my book one day, or about the system, and he said, "You have to write this book." So he's actually the one that convinced me to put it down on paper, because my whole goal is to help people. Like, I really get a lot of enjoyment out of helping people and seeing them get ahead. And so in doing that, I had some people who actually had a negative daily allowance. So just with their monthly spending, not even taking into consideration any of their, movies or, enjoyment spending, they were actually in a negative situation.
They couldn't
that's me.
They couldn't do anything. Well, when we're in radio, so we hear all these stories about people in the music industry, and every once in a while you'll be heartbroken when you hear that somebody who was so successful last year is now, filing for bankruptcy or something this year. You say, how did they spend all that money so quickly? And I think the habits that you will help establish with the book are applicable regardless of your income, and it would probably put somebody in a better place in the event that they actually do hit this kind of windfall, right?
Oh, definitely. And, I've had 2 clients that have made 7-figure salaries. So that's over $1 million a year. And they were struggling. They had so much debt. And you think, it's kind of human psychology. The more you make, the more you spend. And so it all becomes relative. So it really is applicable to almost everyone, I'd say. And again, it's getting back to that awareness of spending, learning where you're spending the money. And if you have that one number in your mind, everything becomes relevant to it. So if your number is 15, you have $15 a day to spend. Well, that $5 latte looks a little bit different.
That's a really good point, yes.
Third of your pay, yeah. And, on the flip side, the guilt-free side, I say is, if you need that latte to get you through your day, if that gives you enough enjoyment, go ahead and spend it and don't feel guilty about it. But just know that it is a third of your daily spend.
And you had done something about donating your house.
Yeah, that was actually, you've done your research. Wow. My wife and I, when we were building our new house, we live in a great community, and there's a lot of houses that are being knocked down to build new houses. And I had lived in my house for 10 years and didn't want to knock it down. At the same time, there was flooding situation that hit Alberta, and a lot of people lost their homes. So I talked to my wife, and we decided to take out an ad on Craigslist. It was Kijiji, which is like Craigslist, for somebody if they needed a home, if they had a place for it. And it blew up in the media. We got 360,000
Jason, we're out of time. I'm so sorry. TheDollarCode.com is the website. The book is The Dollar Code.
Yeah.
Jason, thank you so much. Stay warm and have a great Christmas.
Be on. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Dominating the GOP presidential debate last night, with Donald Trump slamming Jeb Bush.
He's saying the same thing right now with radical Islam, and we can't have that in our country. It just won't work. We need strength.
Governor Bush. Donald, you're not going to be able to insult your way to the presidency. That's not going to happen.
That on CNN and the Salem Radio Network. There was a scare for Southwest Airlines passengers and crew members in Nashville.
Flight 31 landed okay, but passengers say something went wrong as they were taxiing back to the gate.
All of a sudden, we heard a shudder, and we heard basically we swerved off into a ditch.
8 people aboard the incoming flight from Houston were treated for minor injuries.
Fox Radio's Tom Graham and a Baltimore jury deliberating again a day after announcing a deadlock in the case of the first officer to stand trial over the death of Freddie Gray. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Men, if you're like me, you appreciate the feeling of a clean, smooth shave from a quality blade. The sort of shave that cuts clean, without the burn. So why are you messing around with generic razors that cost $32 for an 8-pack? When you can shave with Harry's high-quality German-engineered blades for half the price.